All right. All right. Think we're live, y'all. Hey, 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 y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Krystal Taylor, the owner of Fitness is Not a Game and the leader of the Black Health and Fitness Revolution. I am a health and fitness coach who helps women move off of the scale and into the size of their dreams for good. And I welcome you to today's In the Kitchen segment. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, let me know by typing yes in the comments. And of course, make sure you drink your water, because we always have water, right? I'm a water bully. Hashtag water bully. So, a few things I want you to make sure you do. One, let me know that you're watching. You here? Say, hey, Krystal. You're going to say hey back. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're watching on replay, please type replay in the comments so that I know that you came back and watched. So today, and something else I want you to do. Start a watch party in the group. Get people in here because today we're talking about the staples, the basics. There's no cooking today. We're just going to go over the things that if you have these at a minimum, then you're good. So many people are afraid of meal prep because they think, and I say this almost every week, they think that it has to be super extensive, that you have to prep 12,000 meals in one day just for the week. It's not that difficult. We can honestly get through just by being meal prep stands for preparation. As long as we're prepared, having the basics, knowing what we're going to do with it, that is meal prep. Hey, Miss Julia from Philly. Come on, I love it. So drink some water, y'all. And let's talk about the basic things, not basis things, that if you have them, you are good. You are already on a good path. So I'm going to go over what I have here and then give you some ideas on what you can do with them and how they can work together, work with other options, what can be prepped ahead of time, and all of that good stuff. So if you're ready for it, type ready in the comments, and then we are going to get to cracking. Get to cracking. All right. So it's funny, I'm looking at all this and I'm like, where do I even want to start? Because there's so much over here that can be put together. So I'll tell you this is where we're going to start. We're going to start with the basics in our grains, right? Let's do that. So if y'all don't know yet, Krystal, hey Kim, Krystal loves her some oats. I loves me some oats. But I love them because, for a few reasons. One, I think they're good. Some people can't stand the texture, but I think they're good. But there's so many different things that you can do to make sure that you have a healthy breakfast on deck. Ooh, too many people skip breakfast. If you are a person who skips breakfast, let me know in the comments. But as you saw last week and previous weeks before, many weeks, there's so many things you can do with oats. So one, we can make our overnight oats. I've shown you how to do that. For anybody who has not seen it before, you can either, if you're, you can always search on the YouTube page for In the Kitchen with Krystal and look for overnight oats. I showed you many different varieties that you can do with that. We can do oatmeal muffins so that you can already just have them. So the overnight oats, you can do a few things with them. I like them in the summertime just because it's a nice cool breakfast to have after your workout because they're made in the refrigerator. Or the muffins, I like those because you can eat them cold, room temperature, warm them up, and you feel like they're muffins, the oatmeal. And then I showed you all last week with the power balls. I'll tell y'all, I've been smashing all those things all week. They are so doggone good. And those, for anybody who does not like the texture of cooked oatmeal, that is a very good option for you because it's not like regular oatmeal at all. We're just using oats as the base. So those are some videos I encourage you to look for. They're all on YouTube where you can go back and look at how I put them together and different things that you can do so that your breakfast is ready for you. So many people, hey Shonda, stop skipping breakfast, y'all. Too many people skip because they say, oh, I'm too busy, I don't know what to eat. Having oats gives you so many opportunities, so many options, I should say, Well, Chris was just talking all over herself this morning, right? But it gives you so many options so that you can have breakfast on the ready. So have you some oats so you can stop skipping your breakfast and you can have breakfast and snacks on the go. Because I tell you, I'll even eat those power balls, those oatmeal power balls throughout the day. So if you like oats, hey Miss G, let me know in the comments if you're an oats eater. Now, next up, big old brand new heavy bag rice. Now, y'all might be like, Krystal, that's white rice. Always hear brown rice. Always hear brown rice. You can do either or. And I'll tell you, oh, y'all want some, you want a challenge? Oh, I'm gonna give you a challenge. Okay, so what I want you to do, whether you have both of them in your pantry or not, or if you're about to go to the store, or if you just want to, take advantage of technology and pull them up on the internet. You can even do it right now. I want you to pull up the nutrition label for brown rice and the nutrition label for white rice. I want you to look at that and see how they're really not that different. I will say this, as far as the nutritional value, the thing about white foods is that they typically do strip a lot of the nutrients, but when you compare white and brown rice, compare the fat, the carbs, and all of that stuff, they're almost the same, almost identical, to the point identical. What is going on today? Goodness, almost identical. I said identical. So don't feel bad if you only have white rice on hand, and that's why I want to show you the white rice today as opposed to brown rice. Now, we know that there's so much we can do with rice, right? So I guess I'll bring in, let me bring in this other grain and then I'll bring in something else at the same time while I give y'all some tips. So the next one is quinoa. Now, you don't have to get the, organic or whatever, any quinoa that you find. And a lot of times people buy the already seasoned packets of quinoa meals. So you might see the roasted red pepper and garlic or whatever. Those are fine too. The only thing about ready prepared box kits like that is that you really do have to watch the sodium in that, because that's what they put in there to preserve it and add flavor and all that good stuff. But when you get the regular quinoa, you can do a lot with it. You can even replace what you would typically use rice for with the quinoa. So let's look at the nutritional values. And I see y'all in the comments loving oats. Yes, John said love oats and rice. All right, so let's look at the difference, right? And I always tell you a few things that you're supposed to look at. Serving size first and foremost. And I will say both of these have the serving size of a quarter cup dry, which is good. They both have 160 calories for that. For the total fat, the quinoa has 2.5 grams of fat. The rice has none. But again, fat is not fat. There's no saturated fat in here. So it's good healthy fats, right? Cholesterol 0, sodium 0. The carbs, 27 grams for your quinoa as opposed to 36 for your rice. Okay? But also what we have here, 3 grams of fiber and 0.6 grams of fiber in the rice. Now, if you remember, I told you all that when you're looking at the carbs and the fiber, you get your net carbs by subtracting how much fiber is in there. So this actually has net carbs of 24, because it's 27 total, 3 grams of fiber, 24 grams per serving, and this still has 36, basically 35 and a half per serving. All right, and then 6 grams of protein, 4 grams of protein. So when you compare them overall, our quinoa is healthier. And you're like, well, okay, Krystal, what can I do with them, right? A few things that we can do with all of these, or both of these, I should say. With our rice, tell me how y'all like y'all rice too, when you typically eat it. But a lot of people like to use it. If you have rice and vegetables and the protein, you can always do a quick, easy stir fry Again, we're talking about making meal prep easy, making it quick, taking the brain work out of it. A lot of people like to do rice for breakfast with rice, egg, sausage, or whatever. It's a good base for that. But you could also do that with quinoa. Now, you don't want to do a quinoa stir. You might want to do a quinoa stir fry. But quinoa is really good as a replacement for if you're doing a bowl, like Mexican bowls. That's nothing you do with rice. Use it as the base for that. But use your quinoa. Add more protein, add more fiber, get you good healthy fats with it, and save you some carbs. Now, to add on to it, y'all, I told you I could talk about food all day. Hey, Miss Patricia. Megan says try cooking quinoa once. It was a disaster. All right, so let me tell y'all. This is the thing. The next thing I want you to have. You gotta have you some broth on hand. And you see I have the reduced sodium broth. Even though I don't have blood pressure issues, most of us do. So it's good to remove as much sodium from your diet as possible, unless your doctor wants you to increase sodium. I know a few people that's happened to. Now let me tell y'all what I love about this hip broth. Whenever I'm making these, I don't use water. And that's especially the key for brown rice. Using broth adds more flavor, right? And so I mentioned how with the quinoa, you would typically find, even with rice, you'll find the, like, what's that rice-a-roni stuff where it come with all the seasoned packets and all that stuff. Make your own. All you got to do, and we saving money and time, right? And controlling what we're eating. To have the same effect, you use your broth, you season up that broth, season that thing up good. And I use, y'all know I like the sodium-free seasons, like the Mrs. Dash or even the generic versions, but just anything that's more herb-based. So garlic and herb, onion and herb, roasted peppers. Put all of that in there, in the broth, stir that thing up, and then cook your greens directly into that. That way you're removing all of that sodium from those packets and you're adding extra flavor. Don't try to cook these first and then season them, especially with brown rice. That's where a lot of folks go wrong. They try to cook brown rice first and then season it. No, that does not work. But when you use your broth, you can use that as the extra flavor and your seasoning. So checking these comments. Yes, Megan says always cook her rice with broth. She always cooks her rice with broth. We're going to drink some water so Krystal can get these words together. Come on. Y'all drink water with me. Because I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening today. My words are all over. Yes, Miss Patricia, it is filling. Quinoa is filling without feeling stuffed. It's a hearty grain. And I'll give y'all a heads up. You're going to see this pop up in the kitchen segments in the upcoming weeks. So just give you a heads up on that. So for anybody who likes to cook along with me, who likes to prep along with me, grab some quinoa, have it on deck. And I actually want you to grab all of these things and have them on deck so that you can easily put meals together, put snacks together, and they're on the healthier side. All right. So with that being said, other things that we should have. I don't typically like a lot of canned stuff. Not at all. I really think these are the only canned items I have in my house. I'm really thinking in my pantry. But having black beans on hand, they're full of fiber. There's so much you can do with it. And of course, when you get them, when you eat them, you rinse them, get all that extra gook off of all the extra sodium. So things that you can do, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do with these, where I got them. What I'm going to do with these tomorrow. I think tomorrow. So there is a recipe that I have for white corn and zucchini black bean quesadillas. So I get these just because, you know, you can buy the regular beans, but because we're talking about being quick with it, not having to spend a lot of time with cooking and prepping, fresh beans are always better. The natural beans are always better, but you may not have the time for it. And I'm just saying to you that when you get them in the can, And I didn't see the low sodium ones. But like I said, I range them off anyway. Range them off, and you can use them in any recipe that you would typically put your beans in. But I'm telling you, that quesadilla is fire. Oh, so we were talking about making bowls. Get your quinoa or your rice, your black beans, you know, some avocado, a protein, and you can make a really good Mexican bowl. And add one of the next things. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. I tell you, I got so much stuff. Hey, what's up, Lena? Hey, Joy. Hey, Joy said the chicken broth tip is the best. Thank you. I'm telling you, when it comes to making your brown rice, use your broth, season that stuff up. It is so doggone good. Let's see. Miss Ali says smoked paprika is a great season. Yes, it is. I love paprika. I love paprika. Yes. Lena says she loves black beans. Something else. I said one of the few things that I have canned in the house is diced tomatoes. Diced tomatoes can go a long way. They added, so I'll tell you, this is something else put together with my bowl. Even if, you know, cooking all of it together, you see how I'm just throwing stuff together? Because that's the thing, you gotta be willing to venture out and try new things, put new flavors together that you typically wouldn't. But I can easily add these tomatoes to if I'm making a pasta, if I'm making a Mexican bowl, especially pasta, because it adds extra chunk and flavors with my I just said Mexican because I like it with my tacos. But having diced tomatoes on hand allows you to do so much. Even with my breakfast scrambles, anything that I want tomatoes for, I could drain these and use these tomatoes because they're already cut up. Again, we're constantly trying to save time because nobody has extra time. If you got some extra time, please send it my way. Nobody has extra time. So there's so much that you can do with these doggone tomatoes that you can mix them in, as opposed to having to chop tomatoes or even having to use a heavier sauce. These are a good alternative for it. All right. And I love to cook them down because I was mentioning something else they can go with. That's a shame, y'all. I just looked at the food and started dancing. I got a problem, y'all. I like food. I get excited thinking about, like I said, I'm making my quesadillas tomorrow. I'm excited about it. So I mentioned all of the, let me check these comments. Hey, Megan. Megan says, I made steak fajita bowls with black beans a couple weeks ago. That sounds so good. And it's crazy because I don't really do steak, but if you put some avocado with it, I'm going to munch on it. I'm going to munch on it. Yes, I am. All right. So I'm going to say these first. So the next thing, let's drink some water, y'all. Y'all know what that is. That's my boo, EVOO. EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. Oh, how I love thee. So I remember I first learned about this just from watching cooking shows. I would watch the Food Network all day. All day. Constantly watching cooking shows. And they kept talking about EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, and all the stuff they were doing with it. So I started buying it. Now let's talk about the uses. Yes, Joy, water is bae. You better tell them. And Joy, I have a new hashtag. You ready for my new hashtag? Hashtag water bully. Because I will force y'all to drink some water. And I hope y'all drinking water with me. Joy says, I also love the tomatoes and chilies mix. Yes, add some nice spice. Yes, Joy. You can find all types of them. You can get them diced, cube, chunk with the chilies in them, or child, what people like to call them. Whatever. Adds a good flavor. But my boo EVOO. Few things I love to do with him. One, I love to use him when it's time to saute anything, especially my vegetables. I saute with it, and it's funny because I have a friend who cooks a lot, right? Well, a Facebook friend who cooks a lot. And I remember one day he was like, people, you're not supposed to cook with EVOO. It's just for like dressing and to accentuate yada yada. I ain't no doggone chef. I'm gonna tell you how it works for me. What I use it for. I use it when I'm sauteing my salmon. I use it when I'm making my quinoa mixes, and they say add a little bit of oil. I prefer my EVOO. I use it when I'm trying to, well, when I'm making a pasta dish and I'm removing the sauces and all of that stuff, and just to add some flavor into it, I'll make my pasta, drizzle it with a little EVOO, and then seasoning it up. I use my EVOO when it's time for me to roast my vegetables, to bake my vegetables. I chop them up, put a little EVOO on it, massage them on up, sprinkle them with some seasonings. So if I have to use an oil, I'm going to use EVOO first. Sometimes I'll pull out my coconut oil, but the EVOO goes so doggone far. For anyone who likes to make their own dressings, this would be your base for your vinaigrette. So it's so, but I'll tell y'all this, I had to get on my sons for it, because what were they using it for? I was like, no, for that you just use the vegetable oil. What were they using it for? I can't remember. But I had to tell them, like, this one is not cheap. Let's be real. It's not cheap. But with this, you only just need a little bit. Typically, you only need about a tablespoon of it for it to go a long way to give you something else that gives you those nice, good, healthy fats. You know, all fats are not created the same. We need fat to burn fat. So this is another good alternative. So, yes. Let's see. Lena says, the day your hand comes through this phone, then you better believe I will have my water on hand. Better have your water on hand. Yes, Joy says the EVOO is better for high temperatures. Miss Patricia, awesome oil. Joy says, I've read that also, but it's about not making it too hot. Right, coconut oil. When I tell you I love coconut oil, ooh, because of the flavor too, but that's a whole nother one. Yes, Miss Patricia said coconut oil is the first choice. I will tell you, when I'm making my salmon, I will probably go to the EVOO first, just because I love how it adds that extra. Well, it depends on which one you get, right? But I love I believe it's the, you know, got me looking there, because I have both of them. I think it's the unrefined. Yeah, got me looking. I think it's the unrefined. It still has the, oh yeah, the unrefined is the one I love to make my salmon with, just because it adds a little extra flavor to it. But yeah, shoot, why not pull these out? Come on now, let's pull them out. We in the kitchen, right? We in the kitchen. So you see, I have my refined and my unrefined coconut oil. As Miss Patricia said, it's the go-to. This is my go-to for my salmon, but I do use my EVOO sometimes, depending. But I love it for my vegetables, and like I said, everything else I listed already before. Let's see. Miss Alex says, I love avocado oil, also works well with high temps. Good. I haven't had avocado oil. And that's surprising. As much as I love avocado, you would think that I would. Come on now. Krystal's tripping. Yeah, I know I got some avocados too. I will say that's a staple too, just because we do so much with it. I cut it up, put it in my salads. I eat it just sliced by itself with my breakfast. I smush it up and make me some doggone avocado toast. Don't get me started. All right, the last things I'm going to mention that we should have, and we drink some water. Joy, drop the hashtag for me. Last thing. If you don't have anything else, you should always have onions and peppers. Now, when I tell you that these things here can add flavor to anything, and I mean, like, I cook with so many onions. I guess I should have brought out the minced garlic too, y'all. That's over in the refrigerator. I'm not going to go get in there. But the onions, and I like both of them, and I use them for different reasons. One, I love to saute with my yellow onions. When I'm cooking, I cook with yellow onions, because then when they caramelize, that sweetness comes out, right? But these red ones are for when you want to add that extra flavor, that extra kick. So when you think about these bowls that we're making, we talked about the Mexican bowls, right? When you cut it up, a little red onion, and throw that in there, cacao. When you have making a salad, you slice up real thin slivers of red onion, cacao. When you're making a doggone tuna sandwich, I was about to say peanut butter. I don't know about peanut butter. But a tuna sandwich, you slice up a little thin red onion, cow. It adds so much doggone flavor, and it's very different from the raw yellow onion. So I have both of these on hand all the time, right? And then with the peppers, we all know how peppers do. Now I'll tell you this, I know some people love to keep these on hand and just eat them raw. The way my indigestion is set up, I can't do raw peppers. Unless y'all want me to be walking around like this all day because my chest is all gassy and filled up. I can't do raw peppers, but I keep them, and I just got these. That's why they're in packets, because y'all know I don't believe in just like, oh, I'll show y'all what I really got in the kitchen and the refrigerator. But I just got these, so I did my bone run the other day. But what's about to happen is these get cut up immediately and put in the bags. Some in the refrigerator, some in the freezer, because again, it's about preparation. Meal prep. Come on, y'all. Meal prep is just about being prepared, saving time. So I'll take some time and I'll cut up my peppers. Sometimes I go ahead and cut up some onions too, have them bagged up in the refrigerator and or the freezer, so when it's time for me to use them, like say for instance, I know I'm gonna make some potatoes tomorrow morning, I don't have to worry about taking time to cut everything up for that. I will just automatically just reach into the refrigerator, grab my peppers and onions that are already sliced up. As a matter of fact, come on, Krystal, with the idea. I'm gonna have a bag of sliced and a bag of diced and put them together, because it's very rare I do peppers without onions. So I may as well put them together so that when it's time for me to put them together, like especially if I'm baking some chicken and I want to throw some vegetables in there, just throw it all in a pot because everything is already cut up. They're good for, what else I do use my peppers for? For my potatoes, for my one-pot meals. Well, yeah, one-pot meals that go in the oven. But it's doggone, when I do my veggie scrambles, for breakfast, there's so much that you can do with your peppers. So I always say keep these on hand. Cut them as soon as you get them. Store them in the refrigerator and or freezer. I like both. I typically only put a few in the refrigerator first, because I hate for food to go bad. And so I have to put them in the freezer first for the long haul, so that if I don't use everything that first week, because I'm always buying groceries, I may not use everything immediately, but put it in the freezer, it makes it last. So let's see, I see the hashtag water bullies. Yes, I'm checking these comments. Shauna said red onions all she uses. Yes, I love it. That's what I say. But when it comes to cooking, I need the white. I love that caramelization from the white onions. Love it. Miss Iris says she doesn't like red onions at all. You hurt my spirit, Miss Iris. I love them, and peppers are bae as well. Yes, Shauna said with tuna, I'm telling you, get some spinach, some tomatoes, and some red onion with a tuna sandwich. Come on now. Yes, that's right, Miss Ollie. Them sweet Vidalia onions. Now, I believe that's what these are. Yes, everything. So, y'all, y'all know I can talk about this stuff for days, but I challenged myself to get it done in 30 minutes, and I just gave y'all some grains, some vegetables, some accessories, or let's say some, like seasoning condiments. But I'm telling you, I don't even know which one I would say is the most important. I don't know. I just say get something in all of these areas, so that you saw how we were blending all of them together in some type of way. Just mixing them up and you can have your meals. So I appreciate y'all for hanging with me today. I hope you enjoyed these tips. Let me know in the comments which ones you already have, which ones you're going to implement and start adding to your weekly shopping list to make sure that you consistently have, so that you can stay on track. That's what it's all about. Staying on track, being prepared for what we're going to eat throughout the week, so that we're not just rushing and grabbing crap that does not, like I said, it's not about it being bad food, but things that do not align with our goals, right? So we want to stay on track. And these are some of the things that we'll definitely do. Like you saw, there's a lot of fiber. But I was about to get into a whole discussion about the fiber and why fiber is good for you. you know, keeping you full so you don't eat as much, but that's a whole nother story. But they keep you on track, and you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. These are literally just things I basically have on hand, and they're not expensive. They're probably the most expensive things. I told y'all EVO can be a little expensive. Quinoa can be expensive compared to rice, but it's not bad, and maybe your coconut oil. Other than that, these are all very affordable items that you should just keep in your refrigerator and or pantry so that you'll stay on. So, all right, y'all. Oh yes, come on now with the shallots and garlic. I mentioned the garlic, but I forgot to pull that out. Love me some garlic. Garlic goes, oh yes, I'll put garlic in everything I can. Megan says I pretty much already have all this stuff already except the quinoa. Come on, Megan, that's what I'm talking about. Good. Come on, yes. And Miss Julia said quinoa. Yes, so I love it, love it, love it. I hope you enjoyed this information. Again, when you try new stuff, share it. Let us know how it goes. Always be willing to share your tips on what you're implementing, because you could definitely inspire someone else to do better as well. So again, y'all, I'm Krystal Taylor, the owner of Fitness is Not a Game. I thank you for rocking with me in today's In the Kitchen segment, and I hope that I have earned the privilege of your time. Please be good. Please be safe. Be good or be good at it, right? But be safe out there, because I just want you healthy. I want you happy. And I want you here. So y'all have a good one.